The Limpopo Education Department spokesperson in Mike Maringa, who joins us via our video link. Mike, thanks for your patience and your time. Welcome to the SABC. I don't imagine that decision to pause teaching and learning for the rest of the week was taken lightly. Help us get into your thinking as the department. At which point did you make that call?
Good morning to you and viewers. It was not an easy one, I must indicate. We had to liaise with our district directors and also with the disaster management team from Cox and the municipalities. They are the ones who did the assessment and gave us a of what's happening following the videos that were circulating on social media. The conclusion that if we are to allow learners to go back to school for the reopening for the academic year, we will be putting their lives at risk. We take that precautionary decision to say they must stay at home up until Friday as and when we assess the situation. Also bearing in mind the level 9 warning that came from the South African Weather Services. But for now, we are content with what is happening. We have given a directive to 2 districts in particular, Mopani East and Vhembe East. We also got information that Capricorn South and some East where Mr. Down is it's also affected by the rain. So it's something that we are keeping an eye on, and we'll have an update as well.
Right. Let me just apologize to our viewers. Our audio connection to you, Mike, isn't the greatest, but hopefully we can continue our discussion. Have you had any information about damage to schools so far, given just how widespread the flooding seems to be?
Unfortunately not, because the disaster team is unable to reach some of the areas. We will also take stock of the damage as and when the water subsides, because we got information that the roads are inaccessible, bridges have been cut off and such. So we are unable to take stock of what's happening. We are just hoping that the stationery will remain intact, because that was delivered last year. And if we are to allow learners to walk in this rain, they may also lose that stationery, which will be costly to us. But also the other issue that I was highlighting is that we are quintile 1 to 3 schools. Most of our learners, after the merging and rationalization of schools, are using scholar transport. So you will not have buses to move from one village to the other. Food parcels, also that goes, it's not delivered in some of these schools that are affected. So it's very difficult for us to allow learners to return up until the situation is normal.
Fair enough. And of course, the sanctity of life is the most important. But I imagine for those who are affected, among the questions they have is what plans will be in place to help them catch up, especially for the class of 2026 in matric, who, as you know, for very obvious reasons, would be eager to stay on top of their work.
Yeah, we had what we call early birds. Last week, we went to check the matric class of 2026. Fortunately, they were a week ahead of the schedule before the heavy rains started. So they will not need much to catch up on, because they were a week ahead. The distraction will only be for these 3 days, because we are expecting them back in class on Monday. So the decision was a positive one, and it will now work to their advantage, because with this lost time, they will still be able to be on come the end of the first term.
Yeah. I must confess, I'm not really familiar with the geography of some of these districts that have been hardest hit, but from what we could see, many of the parts that the students would have to navigate have rivers that have frankly burst their banks. And we know that it takes time, even after the rains have passed, for those rivers to settle again. The question, I suppose, Mike, becomes whether or not there could be any kind of support for people to, at the very least, make it past those difficult or complex areas after the rains are gone, given the fact that, you know, those areas might still be very hard to navigate.
No, it's a multidisciplinary approach. We've got the Department of Coxstar, we've got Public Works, we've got Social Development, and Department of Health as well. We are working as a compact try and see how best we can ease the situation. But we know once the rain stops, the flow will be normal. You will not be having water of the bridges. We are hoping that even with the roads that are cut off, we should be able to get makeshift bridges, and we also will also have Department of Public Works coming on board to try and rehabilitate the roads that have been washed away, so that those who need basics, those who need to go to the hospital, schools and alike, they are able to use the roads. So hopefully by weekend, if the rain subsides by Friday, by weekend, we should be seeing the services on the ground, and Monday everything should normalize.
We certainly hope so too. Mike Maringa, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. All the very best with the work that lies ahead. Mike Maringa is the spokesperson for the Education Department in Limpopo Province.